it's Sally with the Polka Dot Life. Thank you for stopping by my channel today. If you enjoy the content that you see on this channel, I would ask that you hit that red subscribe button down below. That helps me to continue bringing you videos each week. Today we are going to be showcasing cards made from a specialty designer series paper. Those specialty papers are always ones that make the beginning crafter happy and the avid crafter happy as well. Celebration actually continues until February the 28th, but products are while supplies last. If you have had your eye on a specific product, I would encourage you to go ahead and place your order. Let's turn the camera down and get started on today's project. Today I'm going to be featuring products on page 11 of the January to June mini catalog. These products are from the Love You Always suite of products, but I would like to say I am not a super big Valentine person. I won't say that my husband and I maybe never exchange a card or do something a little bit out of the ordinary. A lot of times it's just something as simple as a homemade pizza and watching something together on Netflix. I don't want you to just scroll past these products because they are Valentine related. There are so many great products here that have nothing to do with Valentine's Day. We are going to be using the Love You Always foil sheets, the Love You Always specialty designer series paper. Both of those come in Blushing Bride, Rococo Rose, and Sahara Sand. We're also going to, for one of the cards, be featuring this Blushing Bride metallic ribbon, and it is so pretty. We are also going to be using, again, this Heal Your Heart stamp set, and it is on page 9 of the Celebration catalog. We used it a few weeks ago, but it is just so pretty, and I needed some sympathy cards and I needed some thank you cards still. I'm still working on that. And so this is just the perfect set for that. And they work nicely with these papers. As I have said, when you have a specialty paper, they tend to work well all by themselves. And that is what we are going to do today. I'm going to try to keep this foil paper covered here for a minute just because it might glare on the screen. Let's do a little bit of stamping. Our cards today are all monochromatic, which was a little bit challenging, I think, using these colors, but I enjoyed it and I think they turned out great. We are going to be using this thank you stamp set. Like I say, I love the font on this one. And I just stuck with 2 die cuts today. I just really wasn't trying to go over the top. I just wanted this paper to speak to you and show you how beautiful it is. I am going to take this and put it down, and we are stamping with Blushing Bride on Blushing Bride cardstock. And that is so pretty. I do think this would also be pretty if you did some heat embossing and you used our clear embossing powder with this. I think that would turn out nice as well. I also wanted to revisit using our tape runners. We used those together the last video. As you know, I am always usually a green glue girl, but I think this particular set of papers that we're using today is a great instance in where you might want to consider adding some tape runners to your arsenal. The Stampin' Seal Plus has the darker blue, and it's for your more heavy-duty things. And then your Stampin' Seal is the one for your more ordinary adhering. We have a Blushing Bride card base. Our foil is also in Blushing Bride, and so is this piece of specialty designer series paper. It can hold a card all on its own without any problem, and you will see that shortly. but it does play nicely with some other things as well. The reason I suggested using tape runners today is when you are using foils, or if you are using the designer series, the specialty ones, these are very thin and light, and these are super heavy. But I will tell you, if you get a drop of glue where you don't want it to be, you are going to be fighting an uphill battle. I'm not saying it cannot be cleaned up, but you have to be very careful, and it's going to take a lot more of your time. I did notice that I had these sheets laying out on my other craft desk, and just in a short amount of time, I had walked away. I think I went and had some lunch and came back, and it had curled. And let me just kind of hold that there so you can see that. I think it's probably because the heat pump has been running. I live in Alabama. I know it does get cold here, but it's nothing like people in the Northeast have. I grew up in the Northeast, so if I'm having problems in Alabama, I think that my air is dry, then you all are probably really fighting it up north. That's just my guess is probably what happened, because my papers that are still in the package are fine. That's where I want to use this Stampin' Seal Plus. I want to adhere this down, and this is a new one, I just changed it out. But you want to get like pretty close to the edge, but maybe not going over. The one thing that's nice about a tape runner is if you do go over the edge, all you have to do is run your finger and flip it back over on itself, and you will not have an issue. That's a great quality. That's one thing I like about a tape runner. And since this is curling, I am going to go back over there and get that closer to that edge, since I didn't get it close enough before. And I could, since this will be covered up, go ahead and put one in the middle. One thing with Seal Plus, you want to make sure that you kind of have an idea where you're going with it, because once it gets down, it really does not like to move. And let's see here, as long as you don't push it, you should be able to relocate it without a lot of effort. But if you've pushed it down, you are going to start and tear things when you move it. I know that I often don't get this right, but I feel that especially when the hinge of your card is here, if you get this straight and you get this straight, or get these as what you feel equal, if you're off a little bit in your cutting, your eye will generally forgive the rest. I just seem to have that rule, and it works out for me. Now, this paper, I think I want it to go this way. I feel like the pattern is lending itself to do that. I want to go to just the regular Stampin' Seal. I think I could use the plus, but it would hold a possibility of tearing it if I got a little too aggressive with it or something. Again, like I say, I'm still giving this a try. I have found that if I can go without lifting it, or if I can start it, like here I got a little low, if I can start it on an adhesive area, like putting it over itself, it does pretty well. These are very simple cards. I don't think any of your recipients will complain. So, before we go on, I'm just going to kind of place this over here for a minute. I want to show you the other cards I made. And these ones I just did very, very simply. I used a smaller die for this one. I've just varied the placement of these. These have all been popped on dimensionals, these sentiments have. But what a beautiful card. There is nothing simple looking about this card. I have not done the insides yet, and I'm still kind of debating whether I want to put a white layer in there or not, just because it's monochromatic and it all goes together so nicely. I don't know if I really want to introduce another color. Leave me a comment and let me know what your opinion is on that. But this is the Blushing Bride, the Rococo Rose, and the Sahara Sand. And it's really funny because I just kept going back and forth on these two, going, which one is that? So today's card is made out of this Blushing Bride. I want to bring in this ribbon, the metallic ribbon. We're going to use a little bit of this on our card. So see how lovely that matches. Even though I think this is probably like a gold or a one of our metallic colors, it really does go with the actual colored foiling as well. And you can use it on either side and it matches really nicely. But just when you think that it's just matching this Blushing Bride, you take it over here and you put it against this Rococo Rose. It looks lovely as well. And so it just, I think it's just your mind and your eyes playing tricks on you, filling things in for you. I did not hold it across this Sahara Sand, but I feel that it would look lovely on a card. Of course, it wouldn't be monochromatic with that pink in there, but I do think it would work lovely. But this is a just super beautiful ribbon. So I'm going to move these finished cards out of our way. And let's bring the card we're working on today back into frame. In fact, I think I want to change my mind and do this to this orientation, do a horizontal orientation. And I'm still not going to get real super involved with this. I absolutely could have, before I adhered this layer down, I could have put these two together and wrapped this around and put a big bow on it or anything like that. I could have done that. I just want to go ahead and snip this. I just want to show you that things don't have to be difficult to be beautiful. So I think that's what we are going to do today. I'm just going to put my finger here, and I am going to use my Seal Plus to kind of hold that down. Just because it's a different texture. And if we feel that the ends need secured, we can come back in and do that with a glue dot. We're just going to flip this over and put our dimensionals. This is another nice thing about this ribbon. It's pretty flat and it's thin, and it won't get in the way of your dimensionals whenever you are putting on your greeting layer. And I don't know that I brought my take your pick tool over, so we'll just use our fingernails today. And I am just going to, might have to slide this down here just so I can see it for a minute. But we don't need things to be exact, properly measured, unless you are extremely OCD. This is all going to work out just fine, and you're going to be able to figure it out to where it looks nice. And I believe that's pretty straight. So isn't that pretty? It's, and if this does, if you get it up this way and you just hold it away from you and it looks a little off, you still have a few minutes to get that and re-adhere it. And if it's not, a trick is, of course, these are my ribbon ones, so I wouldn't use this, but you can just put your snips under there and snip it loose and put new dimensionals on, and you'll be recovered nicely. But I don't even think that this is going to move around enough that I'm going to worry about it. But I thought this is just so pretty. You just really don't need anything else on this card. It's just gorgeous. I will take some of this paper and I will decorate my envelope flaps, but I think this is beautiful. So I have this one, and then my Rococo Rose. We do have our Rococo Rose ribbon that has the tan color in the middle like a Sahara sand. I just cut it in half, and I just use some of that Seal Plus right up against the edge of this and tuck that in there, and then I just put this one down flat so that it would give, since I was using just a half a piece of ribbon, it would give it just some more adhesion on there. But I think that is just lovely as well. And then here I have our Sahara Sand version. This is probably my very, very most loved trim that we've ever had in Stampin' Up! Since I have been a demonstrator. I love ribbons, I love textiles, I love all of those things. I get that from my mom. But this comes and it has a stitching along here. So I just cut what I needed, wrapped it around this layer, and then I adhered this layer down with some plus, because we're holding down this foil that's bowing and we're adding this in also. But then before I put this down, I just snipped on the back that first part of that thread, and then I just used my take your pick tool, and I just pulled that out, and it was done. And then that just makes these little tassels on our card, and I think it is just lovely. And I know that anyone would love to get this card in the mail. I think that it's not too girly. I think you could definitely send this to a man as well. I just love each one of these cards, and you could even still keep adding things to these. You could put some rhinestones, you could put any kind of our embellishments that go with these, but I just don't feel as though they are necessary. I think these are just gorgeous the way they are. I didn't want you to just browse past these papers and just not give them a second glance because you felt that they were just for a Valentine card. You certainly could use them for a Valentine card. Just change this part out, change your greeting. You could do that. But I think these are gorgeous. I hope that you enjoyed this video today. I think that these cards just stand on their own. They don't really need much of anything else. They just need to be sent to show love of Christ to someone in your life. Just show them some kindness today. It's just still been a difficult time for many people. If you don't have anyone that you want to send a card to, make some of these up. Call your local nursing home. Ask them if they could use some cards. And I'm sure that they would be happy to take some off your hands. As always, remember to be kind, send a card, and do something creative. Bye-bye.